telescope is an extension of its owner that allows us to peer into the universe to see nature on the grandest scale, with wonders that boggle the imagination. This is Galaxy Log for March and April of 2024, and it's subtitled Beginning and New Beginning. First, about the beginning part of this Galaxy Log. This goes back to my 13th birthday, when my parents bought me an Edmunds Scientific 6-inch f8 reflector. And this is the telescope that really kickstarted me into be a deep sky observer. I remember taking it outside of town to my great uncle's place, and seeing the Ring Nebula and the Galaxy M106 for the first time, and I was hooked. That really hooked me on visual deep sky astronomy, and particularly galaxies. So on this year, March 29th, 2024, it was a shorter night. It was an earlier lunar rise, so I only had maybe about 3 or 4 hours of good dark skies. So I just grabbed our GSO 6-inch f5 Newt and took it to our local dark site. And it was a great night with it. And I'll talk more in detail about the telescope in our summary. But it did bring back a lot of memories of the old Edmunds 6-inch. First view of the night was NGC 2903 in Leo, which is a great galaxy. It's one of my favorite galaxies. It's one of those kind of galaxies that looks really good in just about any telescope. For this view, was a 9mm eyepiece, gave me 85 magnification. The sky conditions were very good. Transparency was pretty darn good. So was the scene. But it really gave a nice view of this really nice bright galaxy in Leo, and one of the better galaxies in the sky. And next, we have NGC 3412, which is also in Leo. Here's where the galaxy is located. It's a closer up view from Stellarium Web. Easy star hop if you're star hopping. It also has a lot of bright galaxies in the region, like M95, 96, the M105 Trio, 3377. So you can actually galaxy hop in here, and 3412 is actually one of the brighter galaxies in Leo. Here's my near view image of the galaxy. First particulars, it's a bright galaxy, 10.5, high surface brightness, decent size, type, its distance. For this view, I used a 7mm eyepiece, gave me 109 magnification. The galaxy has a really bright stellar nucleus. It really stands out, and you can see that in the sky survey image. And then it has this bright inner region, and then this very faint, very oval football-shaped disk, which you can see here in the sky survey. Actually, it didn't look too different between the visual eyepiece view and the sky, other than being much brighter in the sky survey. But it's not an over detailed galaxy, but it can be seen in smaller telescopes. If you have say a 3-inch refractor under dark skies, it should be no problem to see. But definitely you'll see, the stellar nucleus will stand right out, and then this faint oval glow around it. But the 6-inch brought it out pretty well. Next, we head to Leo Minor for our paragalaxies, NGC 3504 and 3512. 3504 is the dominant galaxy here, and stands out really, really well. A closer up view of the two galaxies. And here's the near view image. NGC 3504 is a fairly bright galaxy. It's 11th magnitude, fairly high surface brightness. It's not real big. It's its type, its distance. Its partner, 3512, is a much fainter galaxy and smaller galaxy. They're fairly close in the grand scheme of things. For my near view image, I used a 5mm eyepiece, which gave me 152 magnification. And first, talk about the brighter galaxy, 3504. It's a nice bar structure here. I had a faint little stellar nucleus, and you can see in this image here, you can see that nice bright bar structure here, and then it has a very faint outer region, which I cannot see. But the inner part of the galaxy was easy to see, and you can see a little bit of that structure, which you see in the photograph. Its partner to the northeast, 3512, is much fainter galaxy, a bit harder to see. I can see with direct vision. Vertivision brought out a little more detail. I could see a very faint little stellar nucleus, a round kind of oval or round disk, with a little bit of an oval shape in the core region, but it was not easy to see as far as that type of detail. I mean, the galaxy wasn't hard to see, but seeing anything out of it than basically a round glow and a little stellar nucleus, that was pretty much it. But it made for a nice pair in the sky. But going back to 3504, I think I want to go back to this to do another galaxy log near view image with one of the larger telescopes. Yeah, because I think it's a really nice detailed galaxy that can be seen, seeing some easy detail with a larger telescope. So the second night was April 7th, and I have it titled New Beginning. And that's because this is my newest telescope, and it got its maiden voyage into Galaxy Log. And it's a Weight Renegade 20-inch at 3.3 Dob with Nexus DSCs. I'll talk more about the telescope in the summary, but this scope was just giving great views of the galaxies. So first traveled to Leo and the NGC 2872 trio of galaxies. And here's where the trio is located, dominated by 2872 in western Leo. Here's a closer-up view of the three galaxies from Stellarium Web, easy to find. And here's the near view image. First in particulars, 2872 is definitely the brightest of the three galaxies. It's an elliptical galaxy. And here's the distances also. You can see that they're fairly close, which makes it an actual trio of galaxies. For the near view image, I used a 3.5mm eyepiece. It gave me 551 magnification. Sky conditions were excellent that night, both in transparency and seeing. The star images, even at high magnification, were really nice, crisp, and clear. No fuzz out or anything like that. Just really good seeing that night. So first we'll talk about the 2872, which is the brightest of the three. It showed a nice little stellar nucleus, a very bright inner core region, and a slight oblong disk. It kind of looked round at first, but as I used vertivision, you could actually see it's slightly oblong. And then 2874, which is a nice big inclined spiral here, showed a faint little stellar nucleus, a little brighter core region, and extended really well from north east to southwest. It was a striking view between the two galaxies, of having different shapes like that. And then here to the northeast of the pair was just a really faint glow. Once in a while, you could see a little faint stellar nucleus popping out, and that's 2873, which was much easier to, of course, see with averted vision. But it was there. I could see it, and at about 15.8 magnitude, that's a really good sign for the night to come, that the transparency in seeing was just spot on. But what a great view of the first for the new telescope's first galaxy log near view, and I was really pleased, and knew that things to come were going to be that much better. Next, headed into sextants, and a really neat thin edge-on galaxy, NGC 3044. Here's where the galaxy is located. Closer up view of the galaxy from Stellarium Web. And here's the near view image. I also have it nicknamed the lightsaber galaxy. My daughter and my son-in-law are very much into Star Wars. And so I figured, oh, wow, it looks, it looks like a lightsaber in the telescope. So I just nicknamed it the lightsaber galaxy, and I'm sure she's going to get a kick out of that. But here are the particulars. It's not a real bright galaxy. It's a fairly good sized galaxy, though, as far as its length, its distance. For this view, I used a 12.5 millimeter eyepiece, gave me 154 magnification. And it lies in a really nice field. You can see by this nice photograph of it, it lies in a nice field of stars. So I thought this would give it a really nice view with this eyepiece. And it did. It showed a very faint little stellar nucleus, a brighter inner region, and then it really extended well, but boy, is it thin. I mean, there's no central bulge whatsoever, and hence it looks like a lightsaber from Star Wars. But yeah, I was really impressed by this view. I could have gone higher modification, but I just thought this overall view with the field stars and this really nice thin galaxy made for the best view. Okay, next we head into Ursa Major for NGC 3786 and 3788. This was one of my favorite views of the night. Here's where the pair of galaxies are located, kind of situated between Ursa Major and Leo. Closer up view of the pair of galaxies, kind of Stellarium Web. And here's the near view image. First, here's the particulars. They're fairly close in brightness and in size, so and of course in distance, so they're an actual pair of galaxies. For the near view image, I used a 4.8 millimeter eyepiece, gave me 402 magnification. So right away, even when I had a lower power eyepiece in to find the galaxies, it was quite striking, and seeing these two galaxies almost touching each other, and because the night was so good scene wise, I was able to really push some magnification. And as I started putting higher and higher magnification in, the view just got better and better. And with this eyepiece, I thought was the best overall view. First, 3786, which is the fatter galaxy, this galaxy here in this beautiful photograph, showed a very bright stellar nucleus and a very oval shaped disk and a bit of modeling. It has this outer region here, which you can see in the photograph. I couldn't quite see that, but the galaxy, this inner region here, that's shown here in the photograph, It has almost like it almost gave like a bowl shape. I don't know why. It looked like the way the nucleus was sitting inside a bowl a little bit, but that's what kind of I got out of it. And you kind of get that from the photograph here. But it was a really interesting view of this galaxy. The its companion here, 3788, I thought was even more interesting. Very elongated, kind of not quite, of course, edge on, highly inclined, but it showed a little stellar nucleus, a bright inner region, and then it kind of extended down to the south towards 3786, and there it almost seemed like it was touching. And then, but the northern part has this little kind of curved shape, um, dense region of the outer part of the arms, a spiral arm, and I thought that was standing out very well, and you can see that in the image here, where you can see at the very tip this curved patch of light, and that was easily seen. I didn't have to use averted vision to see that, to resolve that out. It was right there. You can see this patch of light, this curved light, and I thought that was very interesting. But overall, the view itself between the field stars and these two galaxies uh, made for an incredible view. I was really, really pleased with the telescope and how it was performing, and of course the night helped a lot. And we see as deep sky astronomers, of course, transparency is so important, like that. But also seeing can bring out some fine detail that if the sky conditions, you can have a really good transparent night, but if the scene is really bad like that, it's harder to make out fine detail in galaxies. But I was able to really see fine detail because the scene was so good. So that's one of the things. Even though I will have to say, even nights that are really good transparency and the scene's off a little bit, there's going to be moments though where the scene is going to steady for a bit. So that's why I always mention about patience when it comes to galaxy observing. You have to be patient with it. This night though, the scene, not one time did I put my eye to the eyepiece where I saw stars just fuzzing out. It just happened to be one of those magical nights that the scene just happened to be really good all night long. And this view here is still stuck in my mind even now as I'm producing this video. So for my, there was a lot of other things that I observed and had some great views of, but I thought the final view of the night was M82, and this is with the 3.5 eyepiece again at 551 power, and the view was absolutely stunning. The galaxy looked like a storm front moving in. You can easily see the dark lane here, really modeled. The star clouds within the inner part of the galaxy were easily seen. It extended really, really well. It was really hard to pull my eye away from the eyepiece, seeing this view. And I know, even packing up the telescope then and eyepieces was a big smile on my face because this was just locked in my mind, seeing this view and knowing that I really have a great telescope that I'll be using for many years to come. All right, this is a summary for this galaxy log. First, the dark site. This is my closest local dark site. Both nights were really good. The first night with the 6-inch had, really good transparency and pretty good seeing conditions for most of the night. But that second night with the 20-inch was even better transparency, and the seeing conditions, as I mentioned, were just really good all night. As far as the telescopes, for the first night, the 6-inch is a GSO 6-inch f5 Newt, and I was using it on an Explorer Scientific Twilight 1 mount. A really good combination. Actually, this telescope, which is actually my wife's, actually has really good optics in it. It's not an expensive telescope. Would highly recommend it for a first telescope. It's nice, compact, lightweight. You can use it on a variety of mounts. Like I said, this is a really good match right here. But no, overall, this telescope does show some really quality views of the night sky. For the second night is my newest telescope, and it's the Wait Renegade 20-inch f3.3 Dob, with a paracord too, of course, with that focal length, and using the Nexus DSCs. Great telescope. It's well designed, well put together. Collimation is easy on it. In fact, when I turned the laser on, it was just a hair off from center, and just one little turn of the secondary knob was right dead center. And then for primary, it was another just tweak with an adjustment there, and it was perfectly collimated, and it stayed collimated all night. Even when I rechecked, it was no shifting or anything like that. It stayed perfectly collimated all night. It's nice having the Nexus to help locate objects. Also not going up a ladder anymore like I had to do with my old 22 f4.5. The scope moves very smoothly. It doesn't stick. But then again, it's not too much where a gust of wind will blow it like that. It stays pretty much still, and so there's no problem there. Optically, it's one of the best large mirrors I've ever seen. It's just tremendous. Even though the seeing conditions were really good that night, I could probably have doubled, even though it was up to 551 power, I could have doubled that magnification and still gotten good views. Star images were just crisp and pinpoint at that magnification. Contrast, even using low power eyepieces and sky contrast really still looked really good. Yeah, it's really a great telescope, and I can't wait to get it back out again. The photograph here of me and the telescope, you can see, it's a perfect match height wise. And this actual photograph was taken was a month and a half ago, I guess it was now, when it was a bit colder. This other photograph was taken that night in April. As far as eyepieces, for the first night, even though it was a short night and it was taking the smaller 6-inch out, I also grabbed my case where I have these Celestron XL LX eyepieces, which is really a fine line of eyepieces for the cost. So for the view of NGC 2903, I used the Celestron XL LX 9mm. For the view of NGC 3412 was the XL 7mm. For the fine view of NGC 3504 and 3512 was with the XL LX 5mm. Then the second night with the bigger scope, I had for the view of NGC 2872 and the trio of Galaxies, and M82 was an APM 3.5mm XWA. These are really fine eyepieces if you're looking for those extreme wide field eyepieces without spending a lot more money. They really give nice views through your telescope, and I highly recommend them. For the view of NGC 3044, was the battered 12.5 millimeter Morpheus eyepieces. This is a really great line of eyepieces. I have also the 6.5, but there's other club members that have some of the other focal lengths, and all of us say the same thing. They just give great views, high contrast, crystal clarity views through your with the telescope, and highly recommend them. I really do. Great eyepiece. And then for that view that I love so much of 3786 and NGC 3788 is the APM 4.8 millimeter XWA. Even though it says 5 millimeter, apparently they are 4.8 millimeter. So that's what I'm using. And as I said, the great line of eyepieces if you're looking for these 100 degree, 110 degree in this case, eyepiece view. So that's it for this galaxy log. Clear dark skies and happy galaxy observing.